Bueno, muy buenas noches Brasil y buenas tardes en Perú. Es muy grato hoy día, casi las vísperas del Día de la Limpieza, que se conmemora todos bueno, en este caso es este sábado próximo, 17 de septiembre. Y aquí en Earth Day.org, ¿no? El Día de la Tierra, organización sin fines de lucro que fue fundada en 1970 en Washington, estamos entrevistando a, digamos, personas reconocidas en el medio ambiente en el marco del Día de la Limpieza, que es en inglés es Clean Up World, ¿no? Es un día especial en cual es casi reciente de formación, 2008 en Estonia, ¿no? Tiene esa característica digamos, se desarrolló en Estonia y en tan corto tiempo, relativamente de años, 2012, ha tenido tanta influencia en tantas personas en el mundo, ¿no? Que son por iniciativas propias, que desde una a 100 o a 1000 personas hacen limpiezas colectivas en conjunto. Y esto pues se hace en 192 países. Nosotros, como el Día de la Tierra, que cada año se conmemora también el 22 de febrero, en esta ocasión estamos también difundiendo este y otros eventos, ¿no? Consideramos que el medio ambiente es una causa para compartir, es una causa para todos juntos trabajar por ellos en un esfuerzo planetario. Entonces, muy buenas tardes, la bienvenida a Mariana Benavente, que es directora ejecutiva de Piensa Sostenible de Vox Populi en Perú, muy reconocida nacionalmente e internacionalmente, autora de libros. Y también tenemos el gusto, el honor de que ella aceptó desde el año 2020 ser nuestra socia honoraria del Día de la Tierra, así como este y otros años. Muy buenas noches, Mariana. Adelante, por favor.
Buenas noches, Rodolfo. Muchas gracias por la invitación a la entrevista, a invitarme a ser socio honoraria. Agradezco mucho a Earth Day por darme esta oportunidad. Y bueno, hablando un poco sobre el Día de la Limpieza, creo que es una fecha crucial para recordarnos que en el mundo se necesitan iniciativas como esta y muchas más, que son fundamentales para mitigar los efectos del cambio climático en esta lucha tan importante contra este reto que significa el calentamiento global. Piensa Sostenible Internacional es una iniciativa que nace en el año 2020 con el propósito de generar conciencia acerca del cambio climático en la población peruana y sudamericana. El objetivo que tenemos es no solo generar conciencia, sino estar en el backstage de la acción, ¿no? Nosotros queremos generar acción. Nosotros también estamos haciendo estudios y ahora voy a presentar un pequeño estudio que hemos hecho, digamos, y las conclusiones, ¿no? El resumen del estudio, ¿no? Con los informaciones más significativas, y en base a eso difundir qué es lo que está pasando en Perú con respecto al cambio climático y el nivel de conocimiento que se tiene en Perú con respecto al cambio climático, y hay datos que asombran bastante, ¿no?
¿Cómo no? Como hablamos previamente, tu presentación PowerPoint va a ser en inglés, ¿cierto? Pero hemos hecho una introducción en español para nuestros colegas y amigos en inglés. This is Rodolfo Beltran from Earth Day. We are interviewing Mariana Benavente from Piensa Sostenible from Vox Populi Peru, recognized national and international organization in media, but in also, you know, particularly in the environment and the climate change. And very kindly, Mariana is the CEO of Piensa Sostenible. And also we are proud that she's also our Earth Day org partner since 1920. She accepted to have this interview in the 2 days prior to a significant date for humanity, which is the Cleanup Day, el Día de la Limpieza, recognized by international and also by the United Nations. And we as they are supporting this organization that is based in Estonia, but in Brazil also has Limper Brazil, who is another partner of us. So Mariana, please, let's share your important presentation. You will, take your time, and then at the end, we have some thoughts, reflection, thoughts about it.
Good afternoon,
Welcome.
Rodolfo. Thank you for the invitation to this interview. I believe that the cleanup day is a crucial day towards the fight against the challenge of climate change. And Piensa Sostenible has the aim to fight against climate change throughout generating consciousness within Peruvians and South American population. I will share a presentation about the knowledge of climate change within Peruvians population. Thank you.
Go ahead, please.
So this is a presentation, and I will, excuse me. Okay. So this is a presentation. This is a research level of knowledge about climate change in Peru.
Yes, Mariana, I'm not seeing in my screen, I don't see your presentation.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Share screen.
Great. Now.
This is the research.
Great.
Research level of knowledge about climate change in Peru. This research hasn't been published before. This is the first time we are sharing this research. And first of all, I will talk a little about the research. This is we wanted to get access to the level of consciousness and knowledge about climate change and subjects about this giant challenge within the Peruvian population. And we found there's certain level of knowledge about climate change. And this could be because there are big problems in Peru because of climate change, because of climate change consequences. There are people around Peru, there are vulnerable populations around Peru that are suffering the consequences of climate change and global warming. And they are, of course, informed about this subject. So even though we are a country that is not well educated, that we are in the way of being better educated, we know about climate change because we are living the threats of climate change. Well, this is about the research. I will talk a little about the data sheet. The objective is to determine the level of knowledge about climate change within Peruvian's population, as I said before. The methodology it was a quantitative research using the survey as tool. We used the structure questionnaire, and a sample of the universe was taken and surveyed using SurveyMonkey. The universe was men and women over 18 years old, all around Peru. And the sample was 855 men and women over 18 years old, all around Peru. The date was, it was a little bit long. It was during the month of May 2022. And I will show some results. Well, this is a tricky question. How informed are you about climate change? Most people are not willing to reveal they are not informed about the subject, but there's a 99% that confesses to be a little or nothing informed about climate change, which is, I believe that is dramatic, in a country that suffers the consequences of global warming frequently, and that in 2004 was considered the third country most threatened in terms of climate change. About this question, do you believe that climate change is real or not? Well, this is very encouraging. 96% of Peruvian population considers that climate change is real, and 4% considers that climate change isn't real. So we can make a conclusion here that negationism hasn't been taking place here in Peru. We don't listen about negationism in Peru. So it's something encouraging. We hasn't listened about negationism in Peru yet. How much is climate change affecting your country? Well, in this question, if we make the sum of plenty and a lot, we get something. We get 90 out of 100 people in Peru that consider that climate change is a major problem. So here we are looking at something very, very important and very, very negative, because we live, as I said, with the consequences of climate change every day. There are the famous huaicos, which are inundations in the coast of Peru. Lima, which is a capital city of Peru, is now getting prepared for the floods and storms that are being announced for the next 10 years. In the Sierra, the Cordillera Blanca is now being threatened because the population in the Cordillera Blanca is migrating because of the melting of the glaciers. In the jungle, there's the movement of there's people that make agriculture in the jungle, and they move a lot because the soil in the jungle is not that rich. So when they move, they burn the soil. So they're moving and moving, and they are burning the jungle in Peru. So there's a lot of climate change actions and consequences that we live every day.
Muy bien. Mariana, es muy interesante, permíteme que en este punto una reflexión, ¿no? Muy importante. Estas estadísticas que tú muestras sobre el Perú es muy interesante, porque se han hecho, más allá de opiniones sobre opiniones que se desarrollan, ¿no? Actualmente, y por supuesto la lógica preocupación del mundo por lo que está pasando y lo que puede llegar, pero yo creo que abordar el cambio climático desde el punto de vista de acciones, y las encuestas and the polls you are doing are, are an action. As I was saying, is a point to note is that this, this poll that you have made in many different countries is different. For example, in the United States, it's not that high the awareness of the population. There are many states. In Peru, it's aware not only because recent earthquakes and tsunamis, and the so-called huaicos that come, in our Sierra, But it's something that is historical, you know. The Incas and pre-Incas faced that. In Puno, they faced that, and civilizations then have to move around, you know, the territory because droughts, you know, because there were floods. It's also in the north of Peru, you know, there are many evidence that the of the violence that at those moments, you know, the continental diverged, how it varied, you know, and also the plagues have they moved. So congratulations, as I said, because many times we reach the climate change and environment as information about the future, about existence and emergencies. Very good that our country in Peru, you know, and many countries in South America are aware of that because they have drills for earthquakes, you know, and they have made a lot of progress. All society, governments and society have made a lot of progress in the awareness and also in the drills. So at this point, congratulate because this is something that is worth to follow up. Go ahead, please. Sorry for.
Thank you very much. Yes, this data is scientific data. So we make polls and we make research because we believe that this data is the basis of planification. I will go ahead. And how much do you agree with the statement global warming has accelerated since the Industrial Revolution? And we found that a significant 42% believes that global warming has been accelerated since the Industrial Revolution. However, there's a 50% is not sure about its answer due to the lack of information in a country that has a developing education. Now, how important do you consider climate change? Again, this is a very encouraging answer. Only 1 out of 10 people believe that climate change ain't important within Peruvian's population. How much can the consequences of climate change affect your health? Now, we made this question differently because there's evidence that say that climate change is affecting the people's health. There's even courses, diplomas, and even master degrees about the consequences of climate change in health, in people's health. And we found that 88 people out of 100 consider that climate change is affecting their health, which is a lot. And this can be, the answer can be answered in many ways, depending on the region, on the people, on the place the person is living. For example, there's a lot of contamination due to mining, to illegal mining, and there's a lot of contamination due to trash because there's not enough work or efficient work that puts trash together, and well, there's not a good job in those terms. So there's a lot of contamination. Also, there's a lot of contamination also because of the car industry. because of the famous micros that are these buses that that have a lot of papeletas, that are these papers that punishes cars, and they generate a lot of contamination. So this is generating a lot of health problems, and people are aware of this. People are not let's say what's the word, they are not ignoring the fact that climate change is ain't they're not ignoring the fact that climate change isn't hurting their health. So I believe this is an important subject. Now, how efficiently you consider the government of your country is managing the challenge of climate change? I believe that this also is connected to the politicians in the government that is in turn. For instance, we have now a government managed by very unpopular politicians, and that they are not making a good work in any area, because they are being pointed for many there's a crisis. There's a crisis in the politician level. So a considerable percentage of 92% of Peruvians believe that the government of Peru is managing the challenge of climate change poorly and very poorly. This means that 9 out of 10 Peruvians believe that the government of Peru is managing the climate change poorly and very poorly. There's a ministry, there's an environment ministry that should ensure the well-being of the environment and fight against climate change. But in this government, they are not doing enough, and the NPOs are the ones acting more efficiently towards the climate change fight. And I believe that, and I hope that the next government acts to fight against climate change. We after the COP25, we made a pact that said that we would diminish our CO2 gas contamination in a 30%. After that, in 2020, we made up another pact saying that we would diminish that we would diminish this even more to 40%, but we are not making this something real. We are not acting towards this challenge. Well, this is the last question of this questionnaire, of this poll. By what means is the challenge of climate change usually being reported? This is very curious, because this was a multiple answer question, and we put a lot of options. So, for instance, a lot of people in Peru get access to climate change information throughout television. And this is because of the climate change and natural disasters that occur, like the Huaycos. And this is 53%.5, it's like 54%, 45% throughout web pages, 49% throughout newspapers, and 30%, almost 40% throughout YouTube. There are also also the social media is important, because if we sum up Facebook with Twitter, with TikTok and LinkedIn, we have like 33 plus 13 plus 15 plus 6, and it's a big number also. So there's social media, there's television, there's newspapers, and well, YouTube, it's also a social media, no? So social media and traditional media, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it's very important, you know, the way you have described, because it's not only the perception the population has, it's also how the population is going to react, and also with actions. You see, the environment and also, you know, climate change is a matter that is, you know, for years, for ages. However, you know, the important message, what I saw in your presentation and the last one, is how the different medias, you know, contribute to raise this awareness, and also to have clear that it's not only government, but it's the population as well that has to react to this with actions, you know.
Yeah.
And I really, you know, have seen analyzing the countries in South America, which they asked me to follow up and support, you know, because I have seen a lot of contributions in subnational governments, in regional governments, municipal governments, and NGOs like us, like you and me and Erde and many others. You see, it's something that is interdisciplinary. You know, it's not only the Minister of Education, not only the Minister of Environment, it's interdisciplinary in this moment now, in which they need actions, you know. And I have seen many actions now, for example, in the Earth Cleanup Day, you know, Día Mundial de la Limpieza. There are events in different countries in South America, beaches, rivers, lagoons, in all parts of South America, from one people that goes and plant a tree to other people that cleans areas, urban areas, putting in value urban areas by municipalities, not only the main cities, but also the, you know, medium, large size and small cities. So what I rescue and congratulate you on your presentation is the way you to face climate change and other social issues as well of Peru
Yes,
and all the
because
countries.
climate change is connected to many issues like education, like the government management of the climate change challenge, and education, and vulnerable populations, etc.
Yes, and how it affects the population segments, age
Yes,
groups,
health,
gender also. You know, how it affects rural women, for example. You know, in this case,
exactly.
you know, and it affects
Gender,
different
health,
countries in different ways. You know, what you see
yes,
in the news in a country that is an emergency, sometimes one part of a nation is always facing the climate change, man-made and natural causes, because there are some also, you know, disasters that come because irresponsible management, land occupation, and illegal occupation, and also the ones that things that are natural, like the earthquake. All we have to do is drills and prepare. However, very positive. I could really congratulate you, Piensa Sostenible and Vox Populi, for your, facing these issues in a general way, social and interdisciplinary, and not only climate change and environment. You're facing all social issues and identify what people think in order to correct. It's not one statistic more, because many times we are used to statistics just in elections or sales. No, the polls are very important to have a picture of the moment on how people and why react to them. Most important, how can they communicate and put their proposals in schools, like you're doing in large things doing. So really, thank you so much. I invite everybody this Saturday to participate in a climate event and participate every day for the Earth Day. Every day of the world. The Earth Day belongs now to all countries on the world and all people. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to add before the end of
Yes.
this?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure sharing with you this poll. And I would like also to share with you and people who see this interview that we are also going to launch a new poll, which is called the research about human development that is about the development of social, economical, and climate subjects. So it will be also very interesting. It's also about, it also covers Peruvian population, and we expect that next year it covers South American and most South American countries' population.
Yeah, that's very important you mentioned this, and of course we'll be very glad to put this presentation also in a virtual way for the next COP27 that is going to be in Egypt. We'll be glad not only from the COP27 before, during, and after, because I think this is very interesting. Not only this presentation you make about what people think about climate change, but also is very important on the index that you mentioned on human development, on sustainability.
Yes, there's an index.
And I think that will be a matter of another interview to you and your collaborators. And thank you very much. Really,
thank you
for your action. Okay, you have a great day. Many blessings to all and the people who are listening to us. Have a great day.
Thank you. Blessings.
Bye-bye.